Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. All right, we just did the classroom routines with the chart, but let's do the actual routines themselves. One of the things that I found to be really important was the transition times. Between when you have to take out your book, but right after you had the frontal lesson, or if you're switching gears completely and you're coming back from recess, all those things, every single moment there's a transition. When there's any time that you're switching gears, that, the bike chain could just fall off. So you got to make sure that everything is being run like a well-oiled machine, and you got to give all the students the ability to know what should I be doing when I should be doing it. So, and this here, we're going to talk about the ways to be able to do that smoothly. So let's talk specifically about lining up, whether it's recess or gym or computers. I would call up row 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. But I would say, guys, I'm ready to go when I know that you are sitting quietly. So generally, that's pretty much most of them. Again, using the chart system from before, if there's a boy or two that are out of their seats, so then you might say, I'd really like to go when you guys are ready. I know that you're ready when you're all sitting quietly. You might want to, instead of giving a red from the beginning, you might want to just say, I should give a blue to every single student who's sitting quietly right now. Those 2-3 boys that are out of their seats are going to, jump right back into their seats. Again, if they're going to need to have a little bit more of the kick in their, pat on the back, so then you might need to have a talk with them at recess time for 30 seconds, but it shouldn't have to get to that point because they should be buying in with the blue point system if you are able to successfully do that. And we'll get into that in a different one. This is more for the transitions. So when you calling up individual rows, so you call up row 1, and then row 2, and then row 3, then row 4, then row 5, and then when you leave for something else, just specifically so that way they feel like it's fair, I start from row 5, and then row 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. That's just going to make them happy. Or if you're going recess each and every day, so then you'll do recess is going to be starting from row 1 going all the way through to row 5, and then for dismissal you go row 5 all the way till row 1, and then the next day recess is flipped. I personally don't really care about it too much, but if you have 2 boys that do, they might make your life difficult enough that you really want to care for them as well. And if really just one person cares about it, unless the class is able to explain to him, it's not really that big of a deal. Barring that, I personally make sure, why get into any of the questions? I'll just call up row 5, and then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. But now walking through the hallway is a really big deal. Not so much because, obviously it feels good when other teachers are seeing that you're walking quietly in line, and it's really great to see that the administrators are able to give you some kind of incentive system if you're walking through quietly. For me, the biggest thing is that you're not having any arguments within the actual students themselves, which going to recess is not the biggest deal. Obviously, you don't want to have any kind of an argument, but coming back is absolutely huge. If you're coming back from recess, coming back from computers, coming back from anything, the way they come into the classroom is going to be the way that you're able to start the next segment. So after a transition, for me, I try to have a cool down period, and we'll get into that later, not this one, but the transition of the classroom going to and from a line, I incentivize that. I try to do the best that I can. I have a die, the 6-sided die. I try to make it as mysterious as possible. I have a cylindrical container. What was it from? I think it was from the whiteboard wipes. You put it in there, it has a lid on it. You shake it up, you'll get it inside. And they kind of like the mystery part of it. 4th graders, I don't know about 5th graders, maybe 5th graders, but certainly 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, like the mystery behind it. Oh, whose row is it? I don't know. The idea is that it's between 1 and 5. That's, the 6-sided die. And I say, guys, you know what? I'm going to roll a die today. This one, let's say I rolled a 2. I'm not going to tell you who it is though. I'm going to roll a 2. Row 2 is going to be the main row the entire day. I'm going to be watching them specifically. If the entire time that we're walking, wherever it is we're going today, gym, recess, library, to and from, if none of them are talking, none of them are, walking out of line the way that they, focus the way that we should be in line, so then they're the ones who get the point. They get whatever system of incentive that you have. For us, we have star tickets, so it's basically school money. They get school money at the end of the day. But, and here's the kicker, because you might have 1 or 2 students in that line who just don't really care. I'm going to roll a second time. That second line is going to be the row who's the backup. That if the first row, if the main row, so to speak, loses it, if one of those students talk, the backup row now takes over. There's only one main row the entire week. So Monday could be row 3, Tuesday is row 1, Wednesday is row 5, and you go like that. So every single day of the week, a different row could be the main row. But a backup row could be the same one every single day. because not necessarily are they going to be able to get it. And because of that, you could have a buy-in from every single row. So when you're walking through the hall, personally, I really like, walking backwards and just praising, you know what, I think row one's doing a great job. It looks like, and then not actually say the row. The backup row looks like they're ready to take up the main row. The main row's doing a great job though. But I mean, if the main row speaks one time, and I'm doing this the whole time as they're walking out, because if you're not talking, they might want to make some noise. So I'm telling them, if the main row is doing a great job, the backup row is right on their heels. So if the main row, guys, if the main row wants to talk once, please feel free, because the backup row will be more than happy to take your money, your star tickets from you. And that's what I would do going online. So it includes the very first day when I'm coming in, they know what the rules are, but I just want to say all the rules. I have the picture, I have the PowerPoints. I'm going to try to get them up on here. The idea is we're not touching each other. We're not pushing. We're not whispering. When you're walking out with a ball for recess, we're not bouncing it. We're not throwing it up and down. It's not basically the rule is it's not leaving your hand. The last time I was subbing a few weeks ago, I said you can't bounce it against the wall, you can't bounce it on the ground. So the boy was going up and down with it. I totally forgot. And the rule generally is you have to give it to the person next to you. No complaining, no crying. Give the ball to the person next to you if you're going to be bouncing the ball. He thought, he wasn't my class, I was a substitute. He thought it meant bouncing on the ground and bouncing on the wall. So I said, you know what? You're 100% right, which that's a big key in teaching. If you have a little bit of a mistake, even though they know what you meant and you know what you meant, if there's any kind of a legal loophole in your words, so then, you tell them, guys, I hear you. You're right. From now on in, we're not doing that ever again, but you're right. And then they're going to view you with a certain level of, respect and admiration that, he hears us. That being the case, when you're walking through the hall, there's no bouncing balls to or from recess. It's, you might not care, neither do I, but once there's a bounced ball, once there's a forced fumble, that's it. It's going to turn into pandemonium, even if it's 3 or 4 kids, and that's going to cause a problem when you come into the classroom. And that's one of the ways that I incentivize the lines, that when we go and when we come in, we have a main row and we have a backup row. They don't know who they are, and the whole time that we're walking, I praise them for it.